Ladies and gentlemen, oops, didn't mean to click. Welcome back to another episode of Higurashi. Last time, Chisato and Natsumi had their great battle full of judo, fighting, biting, gaslighting. It was a great time. But in the end, it looks like Chisato has pulled a Keiichi and has calmed Natsumi down from her level 4 Hinamizawa syndrome. And we're seeing the aftermath. This might be the end of the arc. Seems like there's gonna be a happy ending. All that I'm worried about is Natsumi's jail sentence. So we'll see. We'll see. When Atra, Atasaka, and Oishi finally arrive, they find what looked like Chisato wrapped around Natsumi. We're wrapping? Time came to a halt. Though the two of them were holding one another, they didn't move. Atasaka, Oishi, and Atra were crushed by the regret that they couldn't stop this tragedy. They just stared at the two of them, unable to even tremble. Did they kill each other? Like, double suicide? However. Oh no, okay. They were just like in the climax moment. The knife fell from Natsumi's hand and clanged along the ground. On the dazzling bright blade, there's no traces of blood. We're good. I thought something weird happened. Natsumi trembled as she slowly raised her head. Her eyes, which were cloudy and empty until a while ago, began to glimmer and shine. Huge tears began overflowing down her face. Ooh. CG. Bro, the perspective makes that knife look like a fucking sword. Short sword. Dude, Chisato does... She doesn't even look like Chisato, man. She looks so different without her braids. Why did I forget? Why? How could I think my precious friend hated me? She threw everything away for me, even her own life. Even as I fell into darkness and despair, she continued reaching out to me with no regard for the danger. She was my irreplaceable best friend. Natsumi pressed her face into Chisato's chest as more tears continued spilling out. While looking at that, Chisato realized that her precious friend, who she loved so much, had finally returned to her. Welcome back, Natsumi. I'm here, Chisato-chan. The happiness the two of them shared blurred and mixed together. The cry of the Higurashi echoed through the sunset sky. Thinking of a friend shows true kindness, and trying to face your hardships head on requires serious courage. It's not an easy thing to say, and even then, there's no guarantee that it will all lead to the truth and happiness. Even so, a single heart controlled by a deep darkness was illuminated with a strong light, leaving that last step firmly in the present. Oh, chapter end. Sorry guys, thanks for watching this episode. I'm joking. Oh, wow, we really shouldn't have stopped last episode, huh? God damn it. This is also place of period, the Higurashi OP4 for the fourth one. It's actually my favorite opening. So Toko, hey, at least we got their names. Aki. Ba 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 da 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 Tomoe. She's chilling. Yeah, but what's her thing? She was arrested the same day. Pending trial. Have her at a trial argue she was not responsible due to mental illness. Yeah! What the heck? She got off for mental illness. Based. That's what all I was worrying about. I hope there's a curtain call, or this episode's just gonna be weird. Da 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 da. It's been actually a while since I heard this. Oh, Himitsubushi. How did I forget the name? Man, what an ending. People who know this are probably like, man, really stopped 5 minutes before the credits rolled. Telling me Dai has a side alias M Graveyard? Tell me Pomegranate Zaki? What that? Is that the channel that's doing the weird VTuber? Oh, we're in space. Never mind, it's just a snowy sky. I thought that was like, we're in space. Miyuki, she tiny again. Miyuki pointed to a local directory as she said that. I compared the map with the directions written in the invitation, and determined that we would make it there if we just walked a little farther. I guess Miyuki hasn't seen snowfall this thick very often. She's been playing in it since we left the station. This town didn't have many people coming and going, so the snow along the roadside was still fairly clean. It was a comfortable walk, and I left a neat trail of footprints behind me as I went. She died? Miyuki answered vigorously, but she lost her footing shortly after and tumbled to the ground. Thankfully, she was wearing a raincoat, and since the ground was covered in soft snow, I didn't have to worry about her getting seriously hurt, but considering where we were headed, it didn't seem like proper behavior. Really? You're the one that makes the snow interesting, Miyuki, I suddenly muttered in my head. Honestly, just looking at her smiling face warmed my heart. If I didn't have Miyuki in my life, how much worse would my life be? Oh, she... But considering my tireless work schedule, I had no idea when I'd be able to fulfill that promise. Still, I made a promise to Miyuki, so I'd have to do my best to follow through. Recently, she stopped asking when about these sort of topics. Apparently, my in-laws told her it's because when you ask that. She's a really smart, really kind girl, and I'm disappointed that I have to spend so much time away from her. Oh my god, are we going to a wedding? Or a funeral? We're at a church, and they said we were invited. After walking for a while, we reached a larger road, and we were able to see a wider area around us. Then I spotted a small church off to the direction we were headed. Oh, I know. This is, what's his face? Madoka and the chief's wedding, I bet. Seeing the building covered in white snow gave it a majestic atmosphere and gave me a pious feeling. Someone once told me that snow was the breath of God, gathering all the world's sorrows into heaven, then falling from the sky. Yep, that's true snow lore. So this weather was proof that God had forgiven our sin. I wanted to believe that. No, it's not. Oh my god. I don't know what's happening. Are they how far is this in the future, man? It's Chad Sato. Don't tell me it's Natsumi's wedding. Or it's, I don't know, maybe it's not a wedding. I turned toward the source of the voice and noticed two women standing in front of the gate, waving vigorously my direction. For a moment, I wasn't sure who they were, but as I got closer, it all came to me, and I couldn't help but smile. And tomato. No sprites. She got married? I bet she got married to the guy running the cafe. Jeez. I mean, Antoinette's... Isn't Antoinette... Or, that's a middle name, I guess. Or was that last name? I don't know. Miji followed my lead and bowed her head as she said that. When the two of them saw that, they shouted, "Cute, star," in a shrill voice, then crouched down to start talking to my daughter. Oh my god. Oh my god, is Natsumi marrying Akira? Holy shit. This art's based! Super happy ending? I love it. After that exchange, the two of them walked to the garden with Miyuki. I thanked the two of them for taking care of her, then made my way to the church. I heard a gentle voice and a bell from inside the room beckoning me, so I opened the door. She was sitting alone by the windowsill, and soon as she saw my face, she stood up with a bright smile. Bro, she sounds so much older, what the heck? The others kind of sounded the same. Like, Shisato actually sounded the same, Tomato sounded a little older, but bro, Natsumi sounds almost completely different. Then she pointed to one of the empty chairs and said, "Please have a seat." So I guess this is like the reception or something. They've already been married. No, He's old, man. Unlucky.
あなたたちにはくれぐれもよろしくとことつてを預かっています。
そうですか。残念ですが仕方ないですよね。後でお手紙を送ります。
Suddenly, Natsumi-san and I turned our eyes out the window at the same time and enjoyed the snowy scenery. From here, we could see Saiki-san and Tamako-san playing with Miyuki in the garden. Dude, if this ends in some crazy ass shit where Natsumi starts laughing evilly and pulls out a knife, I'm gonna be real fucking mad.
全然気にしないでください。気にする人なんていませんから。
私の他には誰が？
式の参列者は千里ちゃんとたまこちゃんだけです。あとは
What?
いません。
What the fuck?
あきらくんのご両親も彼が気を使って。
Huh.
そうですか。
I'm not. What? Oh, I get it. So, yeah, okay. So the parents are showing consideration because no one from Natsumi's family showed up, obviously, because they're all dead. Whoops, my bad. Normally, the groom calls on the relatives to unite the family. However, there's nobody left in the bride's immediate family, and the groom's relatives were probably already familiar with the bride's poor public reputation. That also, I guess. She was innocent! By the court of law! Respect the law, motherfuckers! And of course, it would be difficult for the bride to call on her distant relatives, because anyone who came would be from Hinumizawa.
あきらくんたちは絶対に言いませんけど、私知ってるんです。今日の式のことで、私がご両親にご挨拶に伺う前。
Ooh.
あきらくん、ご両親と絶縁寸前まで
Based actor.
喧嘩したんです。ずいぶん時間をかけて説得してくれたんですよ。それもあきらくんだけじゃなく、千里ちゃんもたまこちゃんも必死になって駆けずり回って協力してくれて。
そうですか。
Well, 5 years have passed since the incident. Natsumi Kamiyoshi voluntarily came into Kakuchi Station with her friends and turned herself in. In the subsequent trial, the result of her psychiatric examination came out. A doctor submitted a report stating that her judgment was impaired by her mental illness. Thankfully, they were able to make great use of all the work Chief Inspector Minai put into researching her medication, so they were able to convince the prosecutors of her mental condition. Plus, her friends offered testimony in her defense. As a result, Natsumi Kimiyoshi was declared not guilty in the eyes of the courts. Even so, that by no means meant everything went back to normal. The fact that she committed murder and tried to hide it was permanently attached to Natsumi Kimiyoshi's reputation. It became impossible to live in her old town, so she moved to a distant, secluded town. And, fortunately, she didn't move there alone. After that, Natsumi Kimiyoshi was admitted to a psychiatric hospital and given treatment so intense it was like being bled. The counseling, medication, and rehabilitation continued for several years. Oh. So they didn't even cure the syndrome? She just got so much treatment? She never reached that levels of stressor then, maybe? Based? It goes without saying she received lots of support from her two friends and the groom Akira Todo. I'm sure it wasn't smooth sailing. I can imagine all the hardships she must have suffered over the years. But even so, she did her best. And finally, she was able to meet him like this today.
少し前まで私ずっと死ぬことばかり考えていました。自分の家族を殺して 自分の友達や恋人の人生めちゃくちゃにして、私に生きてる資格はあるのかなって。まして幸せになるなんてこと私には。
君吉さん。あ、いや。
I quickly noticed my hair and suddenly stopped myself then.
東堂な、この名前多分一生慣れないと思います。だけど
Then Natsumi Toto raised her head to look up at me. I could still see the grief and doubt in her expression, but even so, she smiled. At least she tried to smile.
死ねませんよね。こんなにも私のことを大切に思ってくれる人がいて、それなのに自分だけ楽な道を選ぶなんてこと絶対にできない。しちゃいけないと思います。だから私これ以上幸せにはなれなくてもいい。だってもう今が幸せなんだから。その分誰かの私のことを思ってくれる人のために幸せのお手伝いをしたい。今はそう思っています。
ええ、それでいいと思います。あなたはまだ生きるべきなんです。
ありがとうございます。
As she listened to my words, Natsumi wiped the tears from her eyes. Then,
伝えたかったな。
え？
私を強く励ましてくれたあの刑事さんに。それだけが私の心残りです。
whoa! Okay, well, I have to use this one. I just use the other one for the other thing, even though it doesn't. Okay. Funny. Later, a small ceremony was conducted in the chapel. The priest held the Bible in his hand as he delivered the speech. The only people watching were her two friends, my daughter, and I. Thinking about it that way, it seemed like a lonely affair. Even so, I felt fortunate to be in attendance as I could feel the happiness in the air clinging to my entire body. After the priest's declaration, the groom looked nervous as he pulled out the ring. Then he slid it onto her ring finger as he swore to spend the rest of his life with her. Natsumi gazed into him in that moment. Was she afraid? Was she sad? She trembled in embarrassment, guilt, and excitement as she faintly began moving her mouth to speak. Still, Natsumi pushed herself to smile. For her lover, who gently embraced her as she was, and for her friends who took her hand and always had her back. For the people who encouraged and supported her, she flashed them a genuine smile.
変わってしまった彼女の世界はとても残酷なものだけど、希望はある。絶対に。
Yuki was staring up at me with a vacant expression. I guess a day will come when I have to see this girl off too. When that day comes, I hope I can send her off with a smile. And when that day comes, I hope my daughter will have enough memories of happy days to be able to smile like this from the bottom of her heart. Yes, that's what I decided, as the warm sentiment of two people in front of me carried through to me. Bam! Dude. What an ending. Letter from Madonka. Okay, we'll see that. We'll see the final tip. No curtain call this time. What the heck? Where's my curtain call? Greetings. How are you doing? As usual, we're doing fine in this lovely weather. The people in this village were a little aloof when we first moved here, but we've become good friends now. A lot of people came to celebrate Karu-san's 60th birthday last month. Oh, that's right. Karu-san was really embarrassed about it, but we dressed him in a red chanchanko jacket like you do at a 60th birthday. I was half jokingly told him it'll last a lifetime, right? When he put it on, but it actually looked pretty good on him. We had a good laugh about it. I'll try to send a picture next time, okay? I also packaged some fresh summer oranges along with this letter. We harvested them this year, so please enjoy them together. I've finally become older than Sis was. It's a shame that my children will never have the opportunity to call someone aunt. But surprisingly, turning 30 wasn't as bad as I expected. Does it upset you to hear that, Atasato-san? These days, I've finally been able to stand over Sis's grave without crying. I originally wished that her grave was closer to Mom and Dad's, but now I'm starting to think bringing her grave over here was the right decision. Sis was always working her hardest, going forward at full power without taking a moment to breathe. And I guess we just never solved the mystery of her dad's death. But now that she's out in the middle of this lovely nature, she finally has no choice but to rest. That's what I believe. Oh, but if there are police officers in heaven, maybe she's running around up there now? Also, Atasato-san. Going forward, please don't blame yourself for what happened to Sis. I told Kuro-chan the same thing too. It's not anybody's fault, besides the people who killed her. Sis was just carrying out her duties, so it's wrong to blame anyone other than the culprit. It was the nature of her position. I want the two of you to understand that. Instead, if you could redirect those feelings towards solving other cases and keeping the perpetrators off the streets, that would make me happy. Sometimes Karu-san claps his hands together and apologizes at her grave, saying that his inability to catch the culprit during his tenure at the station is his biggest regret. And each time I'd smack him as hard as I could. However, thanks to the hard work of Fujita-san and the rest of the team, they're finally able to catch the suspect last year, pod! So I think Sis would be grateful to know that everyone did their best and refused to give up. So from now on, please do your best at work. My family and I pray that you become Superintendent General of the Metropolitan Police. Well, perhaps that's too much of a stretch, but we hope you reach a position close to it and continue working for the world peace. So please take care of yourself. I'll talk to you later. Madoka Yamaokai. Oh. That was a good letter, man. Oh man. What a happy ending. I really didn't think it would be. I thought it would obviously be happier than last arc, but actual good ending reached. Besides no curtain call, they did it last arc. Did they just scrap it? Were people not vibing with the curtain calls? You kidding me? Anyways, guys, thanks for watching a short episode, but we will... I forgot what the next arc is, actually. We'll have to look at the charts or whatever we were following. I think it's, I think there's one more with this set of characters, right? I think it's this one. And is this Aoi, maybe? Or it might be this, actually. What the? There's 3 of them? When are we getting to Rena breasts? We'll never know. Anyways, see you next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.